Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming and today's video is sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms. And in this week's Ark of Osiris match, there was some really fun stuff that happened and I wanted to show you some highlights, including my getting swarmed like crazy as you saw in the intro, and my using the Heraclius garrison to defend my city. And it did fine. I mean, honestly, when I was getting crazy swarmed, it did pretty good, and shielding and healing will be really good in that context. But let's start with these single rallies. Up first was a Nevsky rally on my city. I didn't have all my troops at home, but I had plenty, given that the rally was actually not full. 1.3 million in the rally. Looks like I took 200,000 sevs, they took 600,000 sevs. Keep in mind, I don't have my best gear on my Zeno. In fact, I have like my ultra backup gear on my Zeno in this instance. I probably should have just used Jadwiga, maybe, because my gear's on her. But whatever. Gear's not on my Zeno. Not my good stuff. No iconics. And I'll show you that toward the end of the video, okay? Then Ruz has a rally hit his city, which is, of course, you know, hey, everybody says burn Ruz, but these guys that we fought in Ark actually went and burned Ruz, which, I mean, you know, that's funny. That's entertainment. So, of course, this makes it into the video. I try to reinforce the city. I think I'm in there, but it like, just doesn't matter. He started with Richard as his secondary, which is, like, super awkward, but I don't think there's anything that he could have done here to save his city. GG, 3 people in the reinforcements there. I'll have the report, by the way, I think, toward the end of the video here. And then, boom, Abe's got a rally on his city. So I'm like, all right, I got troops in there. I got a march of infantry in his city, and I suppose now I could be swarming the rally. I should be doing that. Instead, it looks like I'm going for a troop swap, maybe? Maybe? Nope. Okay. Yeah, no, I should be swapping. There we go. There's the swap. I was like, hello, Chisgule? Swap a fresh march? It's kind of too late at this point, but whatever. We get the fresh march in his city. Abe's also going to burn. Very important learning here, though. Open up your wall. Gem heal your wall. It's 50 gems if you don't want to get ported away. You have to do that in like 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, or you're ported away. The wall durability in Ark of Osiris is really low. Now, here's where things get super fun. We took the enemy's obelisk. I poured over. Unfortunately, literally all my marches were out. So that's super awkward. I was going to garrison the Shrine of Life. I think I end up doing that briefly, but then pull the garrison to bring it back to my city. Hopefully I do that sooner than later. No, I make myself captain. Good for me. So from here, we're going to swarm some cities. And also, my city is going to get rallied and swarmed and all that crazy stuff you saw in the intro. All right? So this is just the appetizer for the fun here. I've got Zeno Flav on my wall. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, like, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I think the festivities will start with my city getting swarmed with Zeno Flav, and I'll also get swarmed with the Zeno Heraclius as well. But maybe I should have used the better gear Zeno. I mean, that is, or sorry, the better gear Jadwiga. That's debatable. But whatever. I regroup my marches with the rest of the team so that my Nebu and my Boudica aren't kind of flying solo here. And at first, I thought I was going to go back to my city. But then they were making calls in voice for like, hey, swarm the city. So boom, they call the city. I swarm the city. Swarm is in. And they even put a marker down. GG. All right. I swear we're in voice. There's like not actually a need for these markers. Everyone's in voice. So that's kind of funny. Yeah. So this is a Xenoflavius. It's getting swarmed down. I noticed that to my right, there's a 64 million power player. I think it was Abe in voice. He was like, scout it. And I was like, all right. We're swarming down this city. They are reinforcing this city really well. That's why it's staying alive for so damn long. But look how long the rage bar is full. The silence chain on this Zeno is absolutely stupid. It's actually completely mad. That was like a 10-second silence chain, which is honestly out of control. I have stronger words, but I don't think YouTube will let me use them. It's freaking nuts, all right? We do eventually get the burn on this. I mean, the commit's super real. We get there. And boom. All right. I do have this report. We'll look at that more in depth. And next to me is an Esong Ethel. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then they start swarming my city. This is the first swarm. There were 2 crazy swarms. At this point, my Heraclius isn't home. It's still garrisoning the Shrine of Life. So I'm garrisoning the Shrine of Life. My city's getting swarmed. But, you know, I started this match at 176 million power, so I have the troops to spare. This is fine. And that swarm, oh my god. Yeah, it gets pretty dunked. Okay? So I'm looking at my wall. I'm like, whatever, it's fine. Looks like my Jadwiga is actually doing fine at the Shrine of Life, magically. I scroll through that swarm and favorite it. I always like to try to just favorite some of those crucial reports, so we'll look at them in a bit. Here it is. Okay, so swarm number 2 on my city. I guess there were more swarms than I remembered. That's kind of funny. I still don't have Heraclius on my wall. It's just Flavius, which... just Flavius. The thing that's really crazy about Heraclius' 1200 damage factor is that even though it's really low, the fact that it's AoE when you have a city this high power means you're going to, like, basically melt all the marches that are swarming you. Hey, and here comes my Heraclius. So that finally, we can get that combo in place. Boom, it's on my wall. We got Zeno Heraclius. Hit me, baby, hit me. All right. So I favorite that report. We'll look at that very briefly. I'll flash through it. I don't know if I'm going to read them all out loud because that gets kind of annoying. And now I start to set up to swarm. And this is where things get off the rails because they have a rally set on my city, but I honestly don't care. Like, fine, rally my city, whatever. Fine, swarm with the rally. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, I have enough troops that I think they can be hitting my city and I can still have 1.5 million troops out of my city and be swarming something else. So that's exactly what I do. I take my troops as the rally's coming to hit me, and I'm like, let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. And we swarm the city while I'm getting rallied and swarmed. This was a pretty fun moment in the matchup, not gonna lie. But it's the next part where things go really off the rails. And so they're swarming me. And after I beat this rally, this Nevsky Joan, it gets a little nutty. I do swing in on the city again. I mean, it was such an easy burn the first time with the Esong Ethel. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. But I do start to get weaker here. And now I go for a third burn. This third burn, like, maybe it was a little greedy to go for 3 burns here. I don't know. At this point, I'm not going to send more marches out of my city because I'm getting yellow. I probably need the troops. And it turns out that I do need the troops in my city. I don't think it was a mistake to go for another burn, but it is interesting to see them switch to an Attila in the city garrison here, because I am pretty sure that that Attila is actually geared up, as opposed to the Esong, which I don't think was at all, which is why that was kind of very melty. So the rally goes away, but these guys are able to stagger swarm my city, keeping it in combat, so all my slightly wounded troops are not coming back. And this is where things get dicey. I bring the Boudica home because there's no way I'm going to get the burn with that many troops left. And now it gets interesting. So now that I'm at half health, watch them stagger swarm this thing, and look how insane the Zeno Heraclius is against a stagger swarm. I mean, stagger swarm is generally just a miserable idea, but look at all these marches getting vanquished. Like, the 1,200 damage factor, when you have 4 million troops maybe in my city right now, maybe 5 million troops, is still really good. So damage factor, damage scales up with the number of troops you have. So I'm basically at like an almost neutral amount of health in my garrison because I am shielding myself and I'm healing with the Zeno. And that's why I wanted to use the Zeno, because it's not like I'm overflowing my hospital. It doesn't matter here. So F it, let's go for broke. And that's what I'm doing. But at this point, they actually have enough swarming me that it's a problem. And I'm not able to sustain the healing. And there's going to be another rally that comes in hot. And that ultimately will get me. Okay. So here, I'm still getting swarmed. It's going okay. But now the rally's coming. Now it's... the burn is inevitable. But if you didn't know how to extinguish your wall in Arc, just watch it in a moment. I'm going to do that. And you'll be like, oh, actually, this is super easy. And once you understand how to do that, you're probably not going to get ported away again, unless you really wanted to get ported away in an Arc of Osiris practice match, or I guess I should say regular match. I'm so used to saying practice match in videos, but whatever. So here we are, all the way down to the burn. Marker goes on my city, save my city. It's too late. I look here. Boom. Easy. I spent the gems. I'm full health. They try to swarm me again. Now they're really screwed. Because now I'm back to like, I don't know, 6 million troops, 7 million troops, or something kind of dumb. So it's trying to swarm me now is just total GG. So if I had not been swarming the city to my right, I probably would have left combat, but then we wouldn't have had this really fun moment to watch and enjoy. So let me go through these reports and show you kind of what that looks like. Okay, time for just a quick look at the reports here. This was probably my highest Ark of Osiris score ever, which is pretty dope. 532,000 is a pretty good score. Obviously, I was swarmed a lot. That was 15 million, almost 15.5 million kills to get that done. So first up, that rally you saw earlier in the video at the very start on my city, 213,000 to 638,000. Then, doesn't look like I have the report for Ruz. I have the report for them swarming my city, which is, I mean, really painful, but also I still took a lot of sevs. And I'll show you my equipment in just a second here. This is 50k to 221, 86 to 182, 59 to 329. Man, I mean, they started with 364,000 troops, and they had 329,000 die. That is why you don't swarm big cities. But this is Ark, so it doesn't matter, right? This is all for fun. 55k to 204k, 50k to 145k, 10k to 142. GG. And then 6.5 to 165. Oh my god. Then they swarmed again, and it's still Zeno Flav for me. 67 to 222, 21.5 to 149, 71 to 242, 93 to 243. I mean, these are brutal. 42 to 277, 68 to 270. So yeah, I mean, like, Zeno Flavius is a fine city garrison, by the way. But from there, now I get burned. So here is the burn on my city. There is 2 rallies. The first rally hits me, and I have 7.6 million troops. So we'll remember that number. 500k for me to 618 for them. That's Zeno Heraclius. Remember, this is not my crit iconic gear. It's just my non-crit gear that's on my Zeno at this point. And it's not amazing. I'll show it to you. It's not terrible. I mean, it's all legendary. 40k to 172 on the Swarmer. 74 to 279. Man. 43 to 208. 94 to 163. 23 to 229. 61 to 145. And then just AoE clean hits, 82k. AoE on 6k. 15 to 216. GG. Clean hit AoE for another 114. And another 12.5. And another 60k. AoE is freaking brutal, man. There's another 15k, 26k, 16k. Like, just from AoE. So now is that Pakal Herald that swings in. And that's the guy that keeps me in combat. 3k on, literally only 3k damage to me. But I kill 136,000 of his. Then 2.5k sevs is what I take to the 74k on their march. Then 44k to 152, 19 to 208, 2.6 to 33. By the way, I can't wait for this patch to get here. It's going to happen probably before I do this video. But I cannot wait for the patch to be here that does a summary, because this would have just looked absolutely monster as a summary, okay? I'm barely taking any damage at all. I mean, I'm practically staying neutral on troops. In fact, I'm kind of healing. I'm kind of going up on troops a little bit, depending on when my Zeno fires. So I'm doing great over here. 1k to 50k, 20k to 155, 21 to 114. If someone does want to add all this up, I'd be really interested to see that in the comments. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm not that interested, but I am interested. Guan Leo. I love that march. Swarming me with 85k, though. Who cares? It's Ark, right? All right. So I'm down to 3.5 million troops. I'm like in the danger zone at this point. Although I've taken out like, I don't know, 20 or 30 marches that swarm my city, which is just dumb. And probably soon we're going to see the rally. And I'm still trading even or positive with these folks. Now I'm trading negative. Okay, and here's the rally. It's only got 1.5 million in it, but it shreds me. I mean, it just totally shreds me. 255,000 sevs for me. Pretty brutal. And we get all the way to the end. Boom, there it is. Expertise Heraclius, baby. Let's freaking go. Apparently my city was attacked again. Oh yeah, but this is when I was full health. And when I'm full health, now they're really in trouble, right? So this is just brutal, like 40k to 200k sorts of trades, yeah, or as it were, 5,000 to 210,000. Just as a reminder, don't swarm high power cities, okay? You get wrecked. Now, again, arc doesn't matter, but I'm just mentally preparing you for a KVK context, okay? And, okay, one person hit my city. Oh, no, that's just AoE. It's like a extra whoopsie-daisy AoE. How did that even work out that way? Whatever. If you wanted to see the equipment I had on, which I'm sure you do, I make my way over to my commanders, Zeno. This is my backup set. This is like the panic set of gear. It's basically my leftover gear not equipped to a combat march because I don't have my Trajan suited up for arc currently. Currently, that could change. I have 5 other field marches and a garrison. So this is really designed to be a panic situation where they're like, oh my God, someone needs to put something in the obelisk. I'm like, okay. Like, you know, that's what it's there for. And so that's why it's a non-crit. Well, I'm working on the crits for leadership, but that's why it's a non-iconic mishmash. I can't believe I actually have a horn floating around, but that might be because I'm just lazy to move things from my Canyon team to my Arc teams. Whatever. That's the gear I had on, okay? 0 iconics. I'm working on getting that leadership crit, and in the future, I mean, probably what I don't know. It's tempting to equip Heraclius. I will say, in this arc match, I used Jad with Heraclius, and it was great. Very happy with Heraclius in situations where swarming is happening. Like, that's what he's there for, man. So for now, he lives on my city wall, but if you enjoyed this video, do me the huge favor of throwing a like on here. I mean, literally, Ruz got burned. Like, what more do you want? I got burned. Ruz got burned. Like, is there something else you wanted in a video? Just tell me what it is in the comments, because I don't know what else it is. But just in case you want to see some of the testing with Heraclius, both for field and garrison, card will be in the end screen for that in just a second.